Hey, hello, good morning, or good afternoon, good evening. I'm not sure where everyone is in the world. Can everyone hear me okay? It's all the regular shenanigans over here trying to get everything working properly. Hi, I'm really glad to be here. There's so much that's been happening, and I feel like the YouTube videos haven't necessarily been portraying just everything that's been going on. They've been very focused on like one thing at a time. So, anyways, cool. I'm glad I sound good. I don't know about look good. I've been working on the house. I had a shower yesterday, but I did not even undo my hair from my hair clip since yesterday when I was sanding the walls. So I still have like dust in my hair. I'm just like trying to get through the sanding and all the prep work for the room upstairs. Oh, it's been a big project. Okay, where to even begin? I guess I'm just gonna lay it on you, everything that's been going on about life, and then we can chat more about like the Chestnut Collective idea and concept of like community space and all that, because I get a lot of fulfillment and enjoyment hanging out with you guys like this, but it feels sometimes very one-sided because I just only see myself, and then obviously have to read all your comments, which I really, really, really appreciate, and I'm glad to read, obviously, but it would be nice to do like face-to-face, you know? Anyways, but we'll get into it. Anyways, hi. I hope everyone has been doing so well. I feel like the summer has gone by so friggin' quick. Today we opened up the front door and Justin was packing up his bee gear, and I forget what I was doing. I went outside early. And it was like chilly, you know, that morning chilliness when it's starting to transition into fall, which is crazy because I can't even believe it was like summer, or it still is, but it's just gone by so quick. I can't even believe it. It feels like just yesterday we were in Mexico, and then I think it was like 2 years ago. It's kind of wild. Okay. Life. Where to even begin? I think since my last live when I was like bawling my eyes out. Things are better. It's been kind of crazy. A lot of things have happened. So I know I had talked a lot about like the YouTube stuff, which I can kind of tap into that a bit more, and like where my head is at with YouTube and the whole channel situation and everything, and how obviously it comes and goes in waves. And we like peaked with the channel like in 2019, I guess, when we had our biggest growth, and it was all about the bus, and then we went through a lot of transitions in life, and then people didn't want to be on the channel as much, and so we had to kind of like readjust. So I can talk about that, but YouTube has been fun. I've been trying to like rein it back, as you heard me last. Been making just a couple of videos a month, although recently I feel like it hasn't been. When there's sponsors that we work with, it gets a little chaotic sometimes, and they want certain dates, and then I have to like reorganize the schedule and reconfigure like the calendar of what it is that I was planning on filming, and like change the dates, and it gets really overwhelming. And last month I think I was like really struggling with my breath because work was just so hectic and like busy and overwhelming. And I think a lot of people don't really know all the behind the scenes of what it takes to run a YouTube channel. Like now that I edit as well, because I don't have Tara helping us with the video editing, it just means that I have like more on my plate when it comes to creating the content. So yeah, it gets overwhelming, I think, when I'm working with sponsors and they have certain requirements, and then they change the situation, and then it gets complicated. So aside from sometimes it's complicated, it feels really good to be reining it back and creating like 2 videos a month. And I know so many of you like really appreciate the more spiritual kind of content. It fuels me a lot to film that. It also feels like I'm not keeping myself within a box, and I'm allowing myself to kind of like evolve, which is really exciting. But obviously those videos don't do as well. And I think about what does do well, which last month was a good experiment. I feel like many of you might not even realize that I've been experimenting, but with like the thumbnails and the topics and things like that. And so many of you want like family content and like the alternative living, which obviously we live in a regular house. And I feel like we do still thrive in a very alternative lifestyle, like going out and doing adventurous things, but we live a much more regular looking life with Azalea in school and Justin working full time right now. But yeah, it's been interesting. The fam, you know, I actually sat down in a closet yesterday to film for a video just randomly and was like, I need to share this. I don't think I've ever talked about it. And then I was like, maybe I'll just talk about it in the live. Like, obviously with Justin stepping back from wanting to be on the videos as much and then me having to kind of take control of all of that and be the one to create the content and be the face of all the videos, basically. I never really thought so far into the future when Azalea was older. And lately, Azalea's kind of also been feeling the same way, like, Mama, why are you always filming? And I don't want to be on the video, or like, just hang out with me and just be present, like encouraging me to want to have those kinds of times with her, which I have been prioritizing more of, which is why you don't see so much of Azalea and Justin on the videos, because we've been very much together without the camera, and it's felt really good to not kind of flood that space with, I guess, what became work a bit. So filming the family dynamic has been a little bit harder, but obviously I know that that's what the channel was founded on, and that's what people seem to be most excited about. So I'm trying to find a good balance between like giving you guys what you like the most and then also like doing what we need. And I feel like I have a good rhythm right now, which feels good. We just went for a boat trip this past weekend. And so I filmed that, and it was a lot of fun. It'll probably be kind of a shorter video because there wasn't too much time to like talk and vlog, which is the other thing that I realized. I watched a bunch of our really old videos a long time ago, and I realized that we don't talk so much to the camera anymore. And it's more like I just film the moment, and then I'll kind of like do the audio, or it'll just not have audio, which I miss a bit. But also, like, in the moment, sometimes it's inconvenient to talk, and then I also haven't really felt inspiration to know what to say, and so I just film. Yeah, I don't know, it's been interesting. No, somebody's calling me. Random phone number. Who gets those? So many people call me. It's just like, what are you trying to sell me? And I don't owe you money. Like, okay. Lewis Smith. Just have to say, I've recently cut my dreads in June after 10 years. Oh, and our videos of us cutting our dreads helps you through the end of your journey. Oh my gosh, stop. Sorry, everybody's calling me. It's like actually nobody important. That's awesome. I'm so glad that we helped you. It was not easy to cut the dreadlocks and shift into this new phase of life. I really have been enjoying having my curly hair back. Sometimes miss having dreadlocks. I think what I miss most, I guess, about dreadlocks is like not brushing my hair. That was always really nice. It's very curly and complicated to brush now. So yeah, it's been interesting for sure to have regular hair again. And I guess it's been like 3 years since no dreadlocks. It's crazy. I think I'm just going to keep growing it long, but I'm going to keep the like shag do or whatever. I've been vibing with my bangs in the last, I guess it's been like a year now. Why don't I have Tara to edit? Well, straight up, we couldn't afford to pay her anymore. We don't have as many patrons as we used to. We don't get as many sponsors as we used to. The views on the channel don't get the amount of views that they used to. So we just don't make enough money, and it became a priority for us to have the money for ourselves to be able to pay for our own bills, and we just couldn't afford to pay Tara anymore, which is a big bummer because obviously you don't want to see your business go backwards, but it's life. Money goes and money comes. So yeah, on that note, I guess when I was last doing my live, things were in a really rough spot. I wasn't sure what was going to happen because YouTube and our business of content creation was like the primary focus of how we earned our money. And things weren't doing good, and they're still not really doing good, but the pressure is definitely not there anymore because Justin had a team member leave, his beekeeper / marketing person. He also financially needed to be making more money. His partner was studying to be a nurse, and so she wasn't really making much, and he was covering most of the bills, and he just needed to have a bigger spread of money to be able to do more things that they wanted to do in life, I guess. And so he left and went back to marketing primarily and just beekeeping as a hobby. And the week that he left, Justin's other beekeeper was working with him and had been working with him for like 2 years or something. And he went to Puerto Rico and was with his girlfriend and just taking some time to decompress, which was a bit inconvenient because it is still a really busy time of year during the summer for beekeepers. But he got back from Puerto Rico and told Justin that he was going to quit and go work for his ex-employer, who we had a lot of drama with when we were initially going to be moving to Atlanta and then ended up moving on to the farm. So anyways, that whole phase of our life is actually on YouTube. So it's kind of full circle that even needed to be a part of our current life, just talking about the company from a long time ago. So Justin works a 3-man job all by himself, which is why he has been crazy busy lately. He's been working 5:30 a.m. until 7 p.m. He does a couple hours in the morning and on the computer. And then he goes into town to beekeep. Sometimes he'll be able to take Azalea to school, and sometimes he's too busy and has hosts that he needs to visit first thing in the morning early, so he can't. And sometimes he can't pick her up either. So most of the time I've been home. I've been renovating the house with a team of people, not a team, but it's just 2 guys. I'll tell you more on that in a sec. Anyways, so he's been really busy. So our trip to Bermuda, which you just saw on the channel, happened. It was a 2-week trip, and we were really hoping that Justin was going to be able to come, but Jackson had just quit, so he wasn't able to come because he was basically not prepared, I guess, for him to be the only employee working the bees. He was thinking that he was going to have two of them working the bees. So the whole time when Alfredo was preparing to leave, he was preparing to kind of shift into that 2-man beekeeper space. And then actually what he needed to be preparing for was the 1-man beekeeper space. But it definitely took a toll. When I was in Bermuda is when it all went down. So I couldn't even be with him to support him through that transition, and just shock. I think he was just really, I don't know. Initially, he was really distraught, and he's worked so hard for the beekeeping thing to be a way for us to make money and earn a living, and he's lost a lot of joy in his beekeeping just because it became too much to manage a team. And so in a way, it was kind of a blessing in disguise because he doesn't have to really manage so much of a team anymore, and he's running it as a 1-man show. Although actually Angelo did join and is training to be a beekeeper to help beekeep a bit here and there part-time. He's been helping to extract honey, which honestly has been a game changer, because otherwise Justin would have been working into the night to extract the honey, because that has to be done within a certain time frame of pulling them off of the hive. Justin's blessing in disguise was that since the YouTube really wasn't doing good, we weren't able to make income come from that anymore in the same way that it used to. Actually worked out that now he's finally paying himself from Buddha Apiary a salary that he should have been paying himself for the last like 4 years. So his income now is able to cover our costs, and anything that I make through YouTube and content creation and Moonflower Child is all kind of going into a little pocket bank, like a, you know what I mean, like a pocket money bowl or whatever, a savings jar for the next transition of life as we begin to kind of like finish the renovations of the house and prepare to move into something new. More on that when we know more. It's still really unclear. I know a lot of you have been like disappointed or sad or disheartened by the fact that we want to move out of the Henderson house. There's a lot of reasons why. I don't know if I want to talk about it now. I think we'll probably get into it like when the time comes, and then I can really share more about like why. In a nutshell, I'll just say that we sacrificed like living closer to the triangle and paying outrageous mortgage rates to be like in the triangle. And we chose to live where we are now for a much cheaper price for a huge house that needed some work, but is somewhat unsafe. So I'll just leave it there, and we'll kind of get into more about that down the road when the time comes, but it's complicated. Anyways, so yeah, I have been really grinding at the house to work on house whilst Justin has been beekeeping all day and earning a living for the family. We've been really craving like more travel and adventures, but we're kind of like locked in one place for now because we have the house and we have a mortgage that we have to pay for, that Justin works to earn a living for, which requires him to be in a certain place now that he doesn't have a team of beekeepers, so that he can like travel and do just the admin stuff, which is what we were doing when he was in Mexico. And so, yeah, we're also limited to his seasonal work. Spring through fall is when beekeeping season is all popping off. So we have to kind of be here so that he can care for the bees, especially since he's the only one now. So yeah, we're traveling less, but we're doing like a lot of weekend adventures and making the most of the fact that we have lakes nearby, and yeah, just like reining it back and just living really presently with our friends here and just the whole everything that we got going on, which is always like a lot. So anyway, so that's kind of like an update on that whole situation. It's been a real situation, and it's been really kind of hard to transition, but I think it's all worked out for the better, because we really wouldn't have had money to to keep sustaining life. I don't know, we at one point were like, you know, if we had to, we would just have to give up the house and move back into the bus, just because we wouldn't be able to afford to live here or renovate or anything. So it all, I guess, worked out, you know, for the better. But that's kind of like the behind the scenes situation in life that you haven't really maybe seen, and it might just look like everything is fine and dandy, but the reality is that like YouTube, Instagram, social media, all the things, there's like a veil for what's actually, you know, really happening behind the scenes. So anyways, hi, been watching for ages What Happened to My Cats, Courtney Lee. We had to give them away, or we didn't have to, but we chose to give them away whenever we initially decided to start traveling in the bus. They were very much like outdoor, indoor kind of cats, and they would not have been happy inside the bus, like especially when we were parked at parking lots and more city places. And like not leaving the AC on or the heat on and things like that. So I think we decided for their livelihood that it would have been a better move to find a new home for the cats. So we gave them away, gosh, like 4 years ago now, like right when Azalea was a tiny baby. Definitely wasn't easy, but Zarina, trying to start my own YouTube. What advice would you be able to give me? Been watching since day one. On the days I felt down, your family made a glimmer in my day. Well, thanks for watching for so long. It's a lot of a lot of evolution that you've seen our family go through. Trying to start a YouTube channel now supposedly is incredibly different than when we still did a YouTube channel. I also feel like social media in general right now is a completely different space than when we were first getting into it and then kind of like in a good groove with it. It keeps changing so much, and it's a form of work and platform that's just like constantly evolving. And I feel like in a way for me, it's almost too fast. I can't keep up with it, nor do I really want to. I'd prefer to just create without being at the whims of like YouTube and Instagram and stuff. So it's definitely been a little tricky these days for growth. And my advice would be to like listen to podcasts and whatnot if you're really wanting to dig deep in understanding what works, what doesn't work, and how to grow and things like that. There's a few good ones that I would have to pull up on my phone. I don't remember the names of them, but you could literally just look up YouTube on podcasts, and there's a lot of really good ones that have great information to learn from. But I would just say, I guess, I'm not living by this anymore because, obviously the channel has been through a lot of transition, but like they always say, like, find a niche and go with it. So I think back in the day when things were popping off with the YouTube for our channel, it's really when we were like bus people, and now we're not really like seen as bus people on YouTube, I guess. And so the channel is kind of a bit more just like a space for me to document in between. And it evolved into like house renovations, which is fun and everything, but I just kind of got bored. I guess I'm just tired of like documenting us building stuff. It's really a lot to put in the energy to be building, but then also to document building. And I've still been filming, and we actually have guys right now working on helping with the outside of the house, pressure washing and fixing up some of the wood and the fascia, and they're going to be painting over the next couple of weeks. And I really haven't been filming too much of what they've been doing. Like they helped us with the downstairs bathroom to finish that out. And I just haven't felt inspired, I guess, to film them. And so the niche that we have, or that I have, is kind of non-existent right now. But I'm, been told that that's obviously really important for YouTube and for your viewers and whatnot. So maybe just thinking of like a genre or what your channel is really going to be about and who it's for and why is probably something good to know. Thanks for all the love, I guess, on Justin's situation. It's definitely been an interesting transition for him for sure, and he's been very, very exhausted, working really hard lately. But has Justin considered an apprentice? Yeah, I mean, he's had interns work with him, and I don't know that he's had an apprentice, but it's just a lot of work to manage someone. And so he really just needs the most simple kind of work dynamic with someone so that he can just get his work done. That's really what he wants to be able to do, is just get work done. He wants to just do he just wants to be a beekeeper. He just wants to beekeep, be done, and enjoy life, I guess, at least right now, because long term he really doesn't want to be beekeeping anymore for work. He just wants to beekeep and keep hives for fun and for us to have honey and things like that. But yeah, anywho, maybe more of your creative side here on YouTube. Yeah, I would love to do that. I just don't think it's as well received by everyone. And I think it confuses, I guess, the YouTube algorithm. So I think moving forward, I've decided to kind of keep the YouTube channel kind of like the old OG content as much as I can, here and there, and maybe like insert lives, maybe maybe just the occasional spiritual grounding, something creative that I'm enjoying, or maybe something that we're building, or maybe the next transition of life that we end up living in. I'm not really sure how it's going to evolve, but we'll see. That kind of is a good segue into chatting more on this concept of the Chestnut Collective. I know that I've talked a lot about wanting to create like community and to be able to see you guys and, to get support in return emotionally, I guess, but also like to give it and just be able to have a more reciprocal kind of relationship with everyone who is interested. And I talk so much about it, and I've been thinking so much about it, and I want to kind of like get clarity on some of the thoughts and ideas that I've been brainstorming on. I have no timeline right now, and this is still something that I'm like in a space of kind of like manifesting and trying to understand and like figure out what direction I want to go in. So I'll just like lay these thoughts on you, and then I have some questions, and you can just obviously write the answers in the comments, and and then we can just kind of like feed off of it. But I know that Patreon has always been a space for the YouTube channel and the extra support, and I really appreciate all the patrons who still contribute. It means a lot, and it helps to still fund our family and our life and everything, and also the channel. I have always felt like I haven't been able to show up enough on Patreon the way that I would want to. And I just don't know that I necessarily love the way the back end of the platform is. And I don't know, just it's like another thing to be going to on top of like Moonflower Child website, YouTube. It's just like all these things. So I've been trying to like figure out how to streamline it and simplify it, and possibly shifting the Patreon space into more of like a membership Moonflower Child space, for like what I would call the Chestnut Collective, where I would want to share, because a lot of you maybe know that I'm doing my yoga teacher training just like online. That's kind of on standstill right now because I've been go mode with the house, and then I've got a few different injuries. Like last week I did something to my neck, and then my knee the week before was having trouble, and I stepped on a rock at the lake and I slashed the bottom of my foot. And yeah, so I've had some injuries, so I've had to kind of like pause for a second. But this membership space, I would want to create like some yoga videos. I would want to possibly create like monthly live videos, something along these lines, where we could all be together, and possibly each month there would be a different theme. Like we would have like live art, group art sessions. Maybe we would give support on various emotional things that we're going through at that time, like grief circle, or mom support, or just like wanting to just have candid conversations like this about just like life and what's really been going on and things. Just a space to kind of support each other from afar. I've thought about what I used to do on the Patreon, which was like a monthly recipe each month. I would love to maybe share more on recipes, and just like thinking in ways of different forms of content, like video content, picture content, reading content, and all the different types of content. But I think the recipes would be more just like a PDF that you could download, kind of like what the cookbook was that Justin and I created. So using that kind of format, so that you could print out and have like a little folder of recipes that we love cooking at the house, because there's so many new ones that we've thought about making into another cookbook. But yeah, I don't know right now, definitely don't have the bandwidth for anything like that. And I don't know how soon we would want to take on another project that would be a big project like that. But like even cooking, like you said, in union, cooking together and just like doing things together. I thrive off of community. I was like writing, I have my journal, my coloring book here, and I was just like writing one of the questions that I did this morning was like, I'm probably never going to find it, somewhere in here. Basically it was like, when do you feel most aligned in your true self and stuff like that. And I just always end up writing like when I'm in community and having good conversation and being creative and just like hanging out, like moments like this feel really good to me, to just like chill and chat and hang out. So yeah, I've thought about the tea times and how possibly it would be good to have monthly tea times exclusively for members, where we could have different topics that we could dig into, discount codes like exclusive for members, things like that, and maybe virtual workshops, even like detox programs where we could have, you know, once or twice a year there would be like a detox, 7-day detox or something, something about wellness and cleaning and holistic living and things like that, to just really encourage people to live in a healthy mindset, but also like keep myself accountable. Yeah, I don't know, I've thought about that. So yeah, I have so many more thoughts, but I want to read some of the things that you've got, that you've always written here. When are we selling? We're probably going to try and sell, or at least list it in the spring and finish out Azalea's school year and move in the summer. Likely we will be moving back into the red pepper. So fun times ahead. We're looking about living on our friend's property for hopefully a short period of time until we can figure out what the next move is going to be. Do you guys want to have another baby? Low-key waiting for an announcement. Sensitive topic for sure, especially with everything that happened in the last couple of weeks. We had a possible scare, I guess, and I say scare because I think neither one of us is really prepared right now to have another baby, and the timing would be really chaotic with everything that we've got going on right now. Justin used to want 6 kids and I used to want 4. I think we had 1, and we're still trying to navigate being parents, and husband and wife, and also individuals, and also business owners, and it just adds a lot to a plate. And I don't know if you're a parent, Paige. We've had a lot of very intense realizations lately, just as becoming parents. I think it's a lot. You going into it don't fully realize what you're kind of setting yourself up for. And there's a lot that you have to give up in order to become a parent, as far as like being like an independent human, and having a dependent rely on you, and limitations for like where you live, if you're sending your kid to public school, if you're homeschooling, or if you're private schooling, and having enough money to pay for everything. And now that we go back to the UK, like, I mean, not now, we've always been going back to the UK like once a year. But now that Azalea is older than 2, we have to pay for 3 tickets, and everything is so expensive now. So for flying back just to visit with my family is like hard for us to be able to afford to do that. And so I don't know. I don't know if we're gonna have another kid. I think we're both Justin I think wanted to not have another kid for a while now, and has been telling me about it all, and I've felt frustrated by the way that he was communicating his feelings about it. And over our anniversary weekend, I think we had an open conversation about it, where we talked a little bit more in like a more open way of seeing the other person's perspective and like understanding the other side of it, because I think we would both be really over the moon if we had another kid. but we're finally in a space now where Azalea is going to be 5 this November, and she's having sleepovers at friends' houses, and Justin and I can actually have time together again. Like over the summer, I guess over the spring was the first time in 4 years that we had spent more than an evening away from her. And there's no one really in our area for babysitting, so we rely on our good friends to help us out. So yeah, I don't know. We're enjoying where we're at right now with just Azalea, but it's definitely still very sensitive because I don't know if I'm fully accepting that I would be okay with only one kid. I never thought I would say that, but yeah, it's possible. So don't keep your hopes up. I don't know. I mean, it would be so cute, and I would love a little boy, obviously. But yeah, I don't know. Anyways, thanks for all the love, you guys, and for watching. Whoa, I just skipped a bunch. For watching the channel. Whoa, crazy stuff upstairs. I want to experience community living such as a commune. I've found that building community is very difficult, and I think it would be different in a shared living space. What are your thoughts? Yeah, building community is really difficult. I have a book somewhere about creating community, and more so in the concept of like buying land and building it out as shared ownership of the land. And it seems very, very complicated. I also, though, still feel like in our roots of who Justin and I are, or at least mostly I, definitely thrive in that kind of an environment where there is always someone around. When I went to boarding school from age 11 to 18, I lived with all my best friends. So I grew up with people like always around me. And I think that that's something that brings me a lot of joy to have. So yeah, I think creating community is definitely not easy and is a lot of work and a lot of maintenance and consistent like connection. But it's worth it, I guess. I think it is, especially if it's with people you love. Spending time with each other is the most valuable thing, I think, over anything, is connection with others over work and everything else. But cooking together as a tribe would be amazing, and maybe a sewing circle. I think that would be so fun. Like if we had like a monthly recipe and we all cook together and we could like also chat and just chill. I don't know. I vibe on all these ideas and I really enjoy the idea of it. I just don't know like how it would work, and I'm still trying to understand the concept of it if it was virtual. But Ricky, since you're selling the house, I'm surprised you're putting so much of yourself and time into it. I would just get it done and move on / out if it's not safe. Yeah, I mean, that's what we're doing. I'm not putting so much of myself into it in the same way that I was before. We are just trying to get it done, and we're just trying to have people help us with the projects that we can't do, that wouldn't be safe, like painting really high up on the outside and hanging off the roof and stuff like that. So obviously, like, these are big projects that still need to be done. Paint is really the only thing that's big that we need to work on. We're just really trying to paint it, and obviously we're putting in the effort to get it done well, because we want to be able to make a profit out of it when we sell. We don't want to just break even. And right now, that's our goal, is to make it not like we lost money on this project. And yeah, so yeah. Are we planning on doing another coloring book in the future? Not for right now. I've thought about doing like affirmation cards or intention cards, and like using drawings to illustrate for that. Maybe. I don't know. Not right now though. I think the focus just right now is creating new forms of income that are not what we have been doing currently. Like Justin wants to shift away from beekeeping, and once this house project is done, we have some ideas of like land ownership and Airbnb concept of ways that we would be able to make somewhat passive income, but to be determined, I guess. I was just reading, sorry. I was just a very slow reader. I think showing up more on your Patreon would grow it. I just feel like I don't know what to share on Patreon. It's just, it's like the videos early. And I feel like I don't feel like that's enough for you guys. And I comment back and connect with, the community of patrons that we have there. But other than that, obviously what we had hoped as far as like using the house as a space for the Chestnut Collective hasn't really happened. And so I've thought about how I can create that space for people more in the immediate future as opposed to like way in the future, since we're going to be selling the house, and also the house is just like still not done, so like we can't invite people here to stay. That's why I was thinking about more of a virtual community. Anyways, why is the house not safe? Yeah, I just don't really want to talk about it right now. We'll talk about it. I promise we'll talk about it. I just don't want to talk about it right now. I'll talk about it when there's more clarity and the next step, and we can have another live and talk more about moving forward. But it's not that the house itself isn't safe. It's more just that the surrounding community is not safe. Think like Detroit vibes. Gives you a little bit more of an idea, or at least the reputation that Detroit has. I've never been to Detroit, so I can't say that the vibes are the same, but I feel more unsafe here than I did in Mexico. So anyways, I miss the tea times. I'm hoping to bring them back, although that's something that I've thought about doing for like within the membership specifically, because that's more content that I feel like is more the spiritual content. And I don't know. I don't mind still sharing it on YouTube. I'm just trying to figure out if that's like really what the majority of the community really still wants, or if you still prefer like family travel style content, because it's hard to do that when we're not doing that, like that's just not where we're at. And I still want to keep sharing and creating YouTube videos to document and inspire and but it's just not where we're at anymore right now. But anyways, God, it sounds like they're like having a dance party up there. Thanks, Paige, for all the appreciation on those ideas. I always have ideas. Are we not excited about moving into the red pepper? I think we definitely are. I just don't know that we want to move back into the red pepper for like an unforeseeable future kind of timeline. When we lived in the red pepper, we were me, Justin, and not yet born Azalea, and then born Azalea, and she was a baby, and so she fit in my closet. Like, she was tiny. And now we have the bed for her underneath our bed, but we also have like a 60-pound golden retriever, and it's just a small space, and we've grown accustomed to having long showers, and Azalea has been really enjoying having baths, and we've just gotten really used to home life and all the luxuries of home life, that it is going to be a hard transition for sure. We are excited though, obviously, about moving back into the red pepper when and if that happens, as we plan. But it's just going to be a different dynamic, a different living situation. And we're going to have to put some things in storage, like our furniture and some like homey items. And I have no idea where all my plants are going to go. And so there's just like a lot of things that are not known, and also kind of make us a little sad. But yeah, we're excited about being in the red pepper, but I don't think we want to live in it for another like 3 years. Like, we lived in it for 3 years because we really didn't have any other options, and we couldn't really afford anything else. And then we ended up buying the house, and So to move back into the pepper feels a little bit like going backwards in life a little bit, maybe. But we'll see. I don't know. It might feel completely different, but we are excited. So don't get the wrong idea. Oh, thank you, Sailing Nomad. I'm just seeing that. That's really sweet of you. I really appreciate it. Yay. Documenting of navigating and showing us the real true side of what adulting is. Yeah, I've been I don't know, it's so weird. It's been really hard lately because like my camera also broke, so that was a thing. So I was using my phone, which honestly is a disaster. Like the back is cracked, the whole front is cracked, like the sound on it is terrible. The GoPro kind of works most of the time, honestly, like better than my phone. And my backup camera is also broken, so I was feeling really just like debilitated with my camera gear. Like I felt like I couldn't do my one creative job that I had. So documenting the in-between has been a little bit awkward lately, but it's coming back together now that I have my camera. I feel like I can create the way I want to, which is good. And yeah, I know, oh my gosh, I know everyone really wants us to share more of that like everyday life and the vlog stuff. It's just been really hard for some reason for me to film that. I've kind of lost a lot of the joy of filming that part of life and find more joy in filming other parts of life. So it's definitely been a little difficult, but I hear you on that. It's always nice to know like what you guys enjoy watching. I mean, you guys are a big part of why the channel is successful. So yeah. And as far as the Chestnut Collective and host, like a platform to host it would all be through the Moonflower Child website, and it would basically be probably like a landing page that would be restricted access to members only. And then the live streams would be through Zoom, and you would get like the exclusive access link to log on for each live stream on Zoom. And I guess there would be like maybe a schedule for the year, so you could like pre-plan and organize around that. But yeah, anyways. Thanks for joining. I don't know if some of you have always missed the lives and all that, but yeah, I appreciate you joining. I know it's like in the middle of the day, but I figured it's the same time as our YouTube videos. So, you know, weekly meditations. Yeah, I thought about doing stuff like that too. That would be fun, like audio recordings of meditations and things like that. Mandala drawings, just body conscious kind of chats, journal questions, just really creating like a safe space to chat and hang out for those that need a little extra support and things like that. So yeah. Hey. Would you like to travel again to gatherings and festivals to vend? I've been an elixir ball vendor for years, and your products and all would be such a vibe near our elixir ball lounge. That sounds like a pretty dope situation. I don't carry inventory, like I don't house inventory right now. Everything is drop shipped and made to order. So I at the beginning of this year actually applied to do a lot of events, and then I've kind of withdrawn my application because it's just not the vibe right now. I miss it for sure, but that's also like a past life that I used to live, and I'm just trying to find my new found direction. And I think it was so much fun. I would totally vend again, but yeah, I just don't really have a way. I don't have any materials anymore. I used to have the Meraki bus, and I don't have a tent anymore. I don't have tables. I don't have display. I kind of got rid of all of that when we moved into the bus full time, and I sold my other bus. So It's funny, I was watching some of my old videos and I was just like carefree selling my mannequin and just like getting rid of everything. And then like in hindsight, I'm like, oh no, don't get rid of that. Like some things I kind of regret, obviously have to let go of that regret. But yeah, sometimes I'm like, no, I'm kind of sad that I shut it down so much. And I should have just like taken a break and then reassessed and came back to it maybe, but it's all good. I think I've just also been enjoying more like going to festivals and hanging out and just like being a part of life that way, and less so much being a vendor and working at the festivals. So, Western Massachusetts near Northampton. I'm reading Freya's comment. Sorry, I live in the Berkshire Mountains. I have been trying to get Justin to like move to a place like Vermont or Washington or Oregon. I've never even been to Washington and Oregon, but there's something about that northern, western, Pacific, Northwest like environment, space, like nature that really calls me, and just the West in general. But Justin will not move like north. He's like hard no. I think there's something really magical about living in a place that has the extremes, like winter, where it's like legit snow instead of just like shitty cold weather. And then also like really amazing summertime. And then the spring is just like blossoming flowers, and fall is like a rainbow of color. I think that for me is like, I really love to see all the seasons. And I feel like North Carolina does have that. But it's just like winter, just like is kind of basic. Doesn't really do it for me. I'd prefer to like have something way more exciting. But yeah, the North is unfortunately not in the books for us because the babes is not interested in it, but that's okay. Thank you, Sailing Nomad, for always being so supportive. Appreciate you always having nice things to say. Yeah, I've been listening a lot to some of the podcasts talking about how some YouTubers like set out on one thing and then they're like, they get bored of what they create content about and then they want to shift. And it's like, they can't really do that because they're like categorized, they're like set in stone for like a certain genre of content, and like their viewers are focus more on that. And yeah, it's definitely interesting that this whole space that we found ourselves in. Like I guess I never really like when we made YouTube a thing, I never thought it would become like our full-time job. And then when it did, I kind of like didn't realize we were in it, like I wasn't fully appreciative and like I kind of took it for granted. And then when things kind of shifted and transitioned and changed for our channel, yeah, it was kind of like a reality check, I guess. And then it was just like, well, I never really had forethought to think this far into the future, for one, and then like also what if it goes away, anyways, to the intuitive massage therapist. Yeah, we have always been planning on selling the house. This was always for us an investment property and a way to kind of like make moves up a totem pole on the financial front. And it was never intended to be our full-time home. We were thinking though that it was going to be a little bit more long-term than for the time period that we've had it. Like we were thinking we were going to live in it and use it as a home base while we traveled with both the Red Pepper or like to other places, but it hasn't really worked out that way. So anyways, yeah, Sedona is really beautiful. It was one of our favorite places that we went to. A filler video, Jack Rabbit London. Would it be possible to do a filler video for the channel to go over your experiences of vending at festivals and creating your own workshop, like tips, planning, pricing, and display? I mean, I could totally do that. You'd probably be the only one who'd watch. I've done like some Moonflower Child videos like that. And I think our like how we made money in the past were more interesting for people, but as of late, they haven't seemed to be the ones that interest people. And I think more than just the daily life is what is exciting for people. But yeah, I don't know. I would. Oh, thank you. That's really kind of you. From the UK, I guess. Thanks, Jack Rabbit. yeah, vending at festivals is amazing. You can see some of on the very beginning of the channel, there's a lot of videos of like vending, and then some more Moonflower Child content that's kind of like went through its evolution of like when I was just making stuff at the house, in my home studio, to like vending at festivals, to yeah, just like having a little like office space, I guess, like studio space, where I was selling things online and shifted into more e-commerce. So yeah, you can probably look on the videos that I've already made. There's a lot of good juice on there for sure. Have we been to Taos, New Mexico? No, but we drove through New Mexico on the way back to the East Coast on our trip like 2 years ago now. And that was a lot of fun. New Mexico was really beautiful. So oh, Hammersmith. I used to live over there. That's funny. Small world. Yeah. New Mexico would be cool. I think if we bought like somewhere out west, like land, we'd probably buy in Colorado or Utah. Those are probably my two favorite places. Do you think we'll do workshops in other places other than North Carolina? For right now, no. I was thinking about just taking it online. I just really haven't had the time to put it together. I had filmed and done it all way back in the day, but it needs to be updated ever since I shut the business down and then reopened. And so a lot of the video content that I filmed kind of is not really applicable anymore. So I have to update it. And I just haven't had the time. I've just been so focused on the house. So yeah. Anyways, Holler Moon Mountain, your dreads are 2 years old today. That's exciting. Congrats. Wait for the 3-year mark and they really start growing. I feel like that's the number when they get long. Anyways, I don't know that I really have anything else to say. I feel like that's kind of like a good scoop on the situation, what's going on with us. Life is good. We're just slowing down, appreciating the moment, and trying to just really get focused on finishing up the house. I will have to do a whole like tour and before and after video of all the changes, because it really is like a completely different house and it's so beautiful. We're also like hustling to get it done like sooner rather than later, so that we can fully enjoy a completely finished space, because it feels like for the longest time that we have lived in a construction zone. And obviously, like for your mental health and just daily sanity, it's really nice to live in an organized, clean, finished, cozy home space. So yeah, we're trying to get it done sooner rather than later. But next week I have a video that I'm sending over to a sponsor for approval, and then I'll be posting the week after. So I'm excited to share that video with you guys because it's going to be a lot of fun. I haven't even begun editing it yet, but I'm excited. Azalea and I went for a van life trip in the Budabi apiary van and drove up to the mountains and chased after some waterfalls. And yeah, we had a really good time together. It was just me and her because Babe had to stay back and do beekeeping, but it was a really fun bonding experience and trip. And yeah, we had a blast. And van life is hardcore. So yeah, that was fun. What else? I don't know that there's really anything else. I still have obviously so many more questions on the Chestnut Collective concept, but I feel like it's been interesting to hear some of your feedback on all of that. And yeah, I just appreciate all of your guys' words and kindness and support and continual like just presence on the channel. It just means a lot to me. It really keeps me driven to keep going. And yeah, if I'm being totally straight with you guys, I've looked for full-time work and I've looked to yeah, get work elsewhere and kind of like take space from the YouTube world, but I keep being called back to it. And I think a big reason is just like not wanting to let go of the community that has been created. So, and also I just really enjoy documenting and having videos to look back on, and it's just fun to have this kind of space where we can connect and reminisce on old times and all the things. I hear Odin. Anyways, so I hope all is well with you guys. I hope that we will see each other again soon. I don't know when I'll do a live next. I was thinking next month and just kind of going with the flow and doing a monthly live to just connect and chat and share more that you don't know that's happening behind the scenes, because the videos are very curated these days. And yeah, I kind of miss when we do with Zay and Justin. Those are like our golden old days for sure. Yeah, man. Those of you that have kids and do YouTube, I don't know if any of you do, but yeah, it's interesting to hear other people's opinions and thoughts on it, because yeah, putting your kid on YouTube is definitely, it's a whole thing. It's a whole thing to think about. Anyways, I hope that you guys have a wonderful rest of your week and enjoy the rest of the summer. Soak up that cool morning breeze if you have chilly mornings. Yeah, and soak up the last of the warm days. And I will catch you guys next time. I'm gonna go work upstairs and sand. Yay! Oh my gosh. Anyways, okay. Love. See you guys.